Before Thanksgiving, I did an episode where I talked about how listeners of this show should be thankful that I have been honest. I have been very honest in my thoughts and in communicating my interpretations of what I was seeing politically, right? I wasn't how you had some people who, literally fed you guys the hopium that, oh, stimulus is coming. It was more than just Nancy Pelosi. It was also a lot of people who were delivering the news, talking about the news, whatever you want to call it. They, oh yeah, this would be they benefited from it. And I at a certain point was like, look, y'all ain't seeing diddly squat. I was very honest. And it's unfortunate that we don't see that from Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell has not been honest. He has totally been lying. Totally been lying. What in the world am I talking about? Well, this bipartisan bill that Mitch McConnell rejected, one of the things that I didn't talk about that it included was federal protection, temporary federal protection from coronavirus-related lawsuits. Sound familiar? It might, because this had been something that the Democrats had talked about that they just adamantly opposed. And it had also been something, get this, that Mitch McConnell said was his whole reason for denying past proposals because it didn't include this.
Y'all don't give me corporate protections. Y'all don't give me corporate protections for 5 years. Screw the American people.
Like, in so many words, that's what we heard from Mitch. And, like, I just can't believe it. Again, he never ceases to amaze me. Because, again, flashback.
I cannot support this because it does not have corporate protections for corporate businesses in case they allow you to get COVID in their establishments.
Flash forward, a few months later.
I cannot support this package because you don't protect corporations in case they give you.
Right? Like, every point in turn was either one of two things. He cited one of two, actually, well, one was a sub. He had two main reasons that he would oppose previous bits of legislation, bits of proposals. Main one was the cost, right?
Cost was too big. We can't afford that. We ain't got no money. We're totally broke.
Right? So we couldn't afford anything because of the cost. Kind of a subgroup to that was the fact that there was just being too much money allocated to state and local governments. But then the second most common reason that he would deny a proposal for economic stimulus was because we did not protect his buddies. We did not or offer, in addition to the corporate welfare, we didn't bundle it up with corporate immunity. We didn't do that for him and his cronies. And so because we failed to do that, he would constantly say, no. Right? So that was like one of the main reasons why Mitch McConnell said, no, I am not willing to help the American people because you are going to hold businesses accountable if they put you in harm's way. Guys, they gave him this. They put that in this bipartisan bill. They were willing to say, if you go into work and your employer creates unsafe conditions and you get COVID-19 as a result, that you do not have any legal grounds to go and sue your employer. Or at the very least, you had to go to extreme measures to prove that they were negligent. Willfully negligent. And that's a high standard of proof, by the way. They gave him this, and he still said no. Democrats didn't even want this. But the bipartisan approach with this bipartisan bill said, look, we've got to compromise. And they tried. And he still said no. Mitch has been lying this whole time. All he wants to do is obstruct. Now, could it have been for a reason I mentioned earlier? Could it have been, could the whole reason for his desire to obstruct any type of relief for the American people economically due to COVID, could his cause for obstruction or his reason be because he knows that if he holds out long enough, specific numbers like those unemployment numbers will magically try to get better, or they'll magically appear to get better because people just magically drop off the rolls. It will look like everyone has a job, and so he no longer will have to try so hard to obstruct. He will have the quote unquote, I'm using air quotes here, the data on his side. I don't know. I don't know why, but I just do know that the evidence bears that all Mitch McConnell wants to do at this point is obstruct. They came down on the price. They didn't even reach $1 trillion with this. Not even. And they gave him his corporate immunity. And he still said no. There are some people who are going to tell you that when they look at everything, that it's unclear. And I'm using air quotes again. You can't see me. But they'll say, it's unclear. We just don't know. We can't interpret the we can't interpret the situation. You know, too much uncertainty. They will tell you that they don't know. It's unclear. If lawmakers, our elected officials, the people who were on our payroll, if they can come together and craft a plan that will actually pass both chambers of Congress before the end of the year. And again, why are we so focused on the end of the year? We have two things happening this month. First and foremost, the first hurdle we have is that, as mentioned earlier, December 11th, we've got to come up with a plan to fund this government. Otherwise, it's going to shut down. I've mentioned before, I say shut her down. If they're not going to help the people, what the heck do you need it open for? Shut it down. But then the second thing we have to contend with again is at the end of the month, stimulus programs that have been functional to this point while others have expired, those are set to expire. And so there are people who are saying, well, look, we know that both of these events are important and we know that something has to be done, but we don't know. We're unclear. We're unsure if something can get done. Like, look, it is very, very super duper clear that given the power that Mitch McConnell has, the power that he has been afforded by holding the majority in the Senate, it is very clear. I don't mean to offend, but you were blind. I don't mean to offend anybody who literally may be blind, so please don't be offended. But you have to be blind. You have to not have the ability to see that as long as Mitch McConnell has the ability to obstruct in the current way in which he does, he will obstruct. Now, I will tell you this. Even if Mitch McConnell gets thrown out of the majority, can he still obstruct? Absolutely. He is in the only body of government that has what I call the F word, the filibuster. I mentioned before on this show, I use an example how when you look at, for instance, the Affordable Care Act, how, people love to talk about, we were pushing for a single payer system and the Democrats didn't do this and they didn't do that. But people don't recognize and they don't talk about how literally they had a record number of filibusters in that congressional session. And that caused a situation where a lot of compromise had to be made. Compromise that ended up with something that was actually a replica of what Mitch Romney pushed for, what he had. But tying that to today, even if Mitch McConnell falls from grace and he no longer is leading the pack, he can still get up there and he can do, I'm sure they will be, you'll see some probably they will wear their diapers, go up there and keep talking to try and filibuster. And okay, there are ways to make the filibuster come to an end. So he can obstruct, but his obstruction in that situation will be severely limited compared to the amount of obstruction he is able to exemplify in this moment. But again, it is very, very, very clear. Anybody who says that it's unclear, that they don't see, that well, maybe, and they sound not so sure, tell them to open their freaking eyes. Mitch, he is going to obstruct. As long as Mitch McConnell is holding the majority in the Senate, he is going to obstruct. And mark my words, he is going to obstruct. Him and his minions are going to obstruct even when they fall into the minority. But their ability to obstruct in the minority faction and the time in which they have to obstruct and the impact of that obstruction is severely less than the amount of obstruction or the impact of the obstruction. Why am I saying obstruction? The impact of the obstruction we are seeing from him in this moment. Mitch is going to obstruct. Hear me loud and clear. No matter what. Give him those corporate immunity protections. Obstruction. Give him a bill under $1 trillion. Obstruction. Agree not to give stimulus checks to the American people. Obstruction. Call him the king of turtles. Double obstruction. Mitch just wants to obstruct. In the words of COVID in chief, it is what it is. I've said before, and I will say again, this is a life lesson to you. When people do not want to do something, they will find a reason, any reason, not to. It goes back to that saying, that kind of life lesson saying, don't know who said it, so don't ask me, but the saying that I've heard and that I totally live by and understand is that when you place value on something, even if you have a lot to do, you'll find time to do what needs to be done. You may have a busy day, but when you really value your relationship with your kids, you'll find 5 minutes, no matter how you have to do it, to be with them, to read them a book, to sit down with them and eat a meal. No matter how many extra hours you have to work. You love your wife, you will find 2 seconds to give her a kiss throughout the day. No matter how much work your boss piles on you, if you value the report that's due and the impact that it can have on your organization and the work that it does, you will find time to do that report. When you value something, no matter what, if time is attached to it, you will find the time to make it happen. Same can be said for when a person wants to do something, they will find the time to do it. Same can be said when a person doesn't want to do something. If I don't want to, for instance, don't lie, I know some of us probably did this. I'm going to be very honest. When I was a kid, I would wake up and feel happy-pappy in the morning. Just feeling amazing, right? But the day before, the week before, I had a report, didn't want to do it. It was due today. So, what did I do? I didn't value that report. I magically got sick all of a sudden and decided to stay home. Mom, I don't feel good. Call her while she's at work. Mom, I don't feel good. Kind of thing. It was because I didn't value that report that I had to do. Same is said for Mitch McConnell. He does not value the impact. Boom. Mind drop that just happened in my mind. You know, I mentioned before how these negotiations have been all about values. But you can also say it's not just like values from like a moral perspective, but like think of like monetary value. Mitch McConnell literally does not value the impact of COVID-19 economic stimulus and relief. This is why he continues to obstruct. It's not just about moral values. He doesn't believe that it has value in your life, my life, his life, the economy. He doesn't believe in its value. This is why, at least one of the many reasons why, he obstructs. If he wants to say no, as we have seen,
oh, you didn't give me this, you didn't give me this.
He's going to say no no matter what. It's like when you have that girl or guy you like, you can spruce yourself up all you want. But if they are just not into you, you can forget it. Forget it. People will say no when they just genuinely don't want to do it. And Mitch McConnell genuinely does not want to stimulate the economy. Now, here's the deal. In the words of our president-elect, there's no denying, like, after you just heard all of that, you probably just feel like a weight. You probably already had a whole bunch of weight on you already, you know, depending on your current circumstances. Maybe, you know, you're about to go off the cliff financially. Maybe you've lost your, whatever the case might be. I'm sure I've added a lot more weight when you're like, well, dang, Brittany, that sounds pretty bleak. Like, if we're dependent upon Mitch and he's not willing to do anything, what the heck are you saying to me? Let me tell you what I'm saying. I am saying first and foremost that it is absolutely essential that we pass emergency relief. Susan Collins, a senator, she said that, look, it's absolutely necessary. And I completely agree with her. It is absolutely essential, necessary, fill in the blank, fill in the word. That's what it is. It is what it is. But do not fool yourself into thinking that Mitch McConnell is going to allow anything to happen. The only way that he will allow something to happen is if he comes up with it. And even then, I don't know. But this is why. Let me tell you what we do. If you're like, well, Brittany, okay, you told me that. I was already depressed. Now I'm, even more depressed. Let me tell you what we do. I think the only hope we have of getting anything done is if it falls in line with Mitch McConnell's agenda. Is his agenda perfect? Hell no. Is his agenda essential? Is it effective and efficient that sufficiently is stimulating the economy? No. But look, let me give you my suggestion. I thought about this long and hard. I was like, well, I can't just come to the table with problems because everyone already has enough problems, and I've just added to their problem and being really honest and saying, look, Mitch McConnell has made it very, very clear he is not going to do anything to help you. No matter how many bills Nancy Pelosi comes up with, no matter how many bipartisan groups form and say, we're here to save the day, no matter what his own freaking COVID in chief proposes, he's like, nah, man, nah, bruh, I'm good. What do we do? Let me tell you what we do. This is what I suggest. If you're an elected official, please listen. This is my plan. Hear me out. I say, look at everything Mitch McConnell wants and go lower than everything he wants. Sounds crazy, but look it. I told you before. I can't. I don't know. I need to like start like bringing up clips of me saying stuff in the past. So I can't. So I stopped saying I said it in the past. I've said before that when it comes to negotiating with people, not even negotiating, but sometimes just in life, sometimes you've got to meet crazy with crazy. You've got to meet people where they are, right? I don't, sometimes, yeah, that we go low, they go high, whatever the heck she said. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, yeah, in fantasy land that works. And sometimes in real life that works. But you can't be that person trying to rationalize with someone who is not rational. You are going to get nowhere, and they are going to like the fact that you are not only not getting anywhere, but that you are actually getting flustered, not getting anywhere. I can guarantee you, Mitch McConnell, he goes home and he smiles and he he like I can just hear him right now. Just like I totally hear it. He's enjoying this. So here's what you do. He wants something, give him a price tag that is lower. And whatever it is he wants, only have it in effect until January 21st, 2021. What? Yes. He wants to give, for instance, we'll just hypothetical situation. I don't know. Let's say he wants a PPP. He wants to do $300 billion for PPP. Okay. I want to do $200 billion for PPP. And we'll have the program till January 21st. He wants to give, look, here's something else I thought about too. This lawsuit immunity that he wants, give that to Mitch too. Give it to him. But you get immunity until January 21st. Give him what he wants. Because look, everything that the bipartisan group proposed, it wasn't enough anyways. They did, even if you look at my proposal of, we'll give him what he wants and give it to him till January 21st. Even if he doesn't want to give stimulus checks, that's fine. That's fine. You want to do unemployment? We'll do it till January 21st. And I know it sounds crazy, but again, when you look at the bipartisan proposal, it's not like it was enough anyways. We just need enough to get us to that magical date. The date of what? January 20th. So we're giving, if we extend everything till January 21st, we give Biden 1 day. You say that you're going to come in on day one taking care of this. All right, bro, we'll set you up. Ready, set, go. Mitch McConnell wants a $500 billion plan. Find a way to propose a $400 billion plan. I said that wrong. $400 billion plan. Make it work. However you have to do it. Anything that he did not add to his proposal, don't add it to yours. If he didn't add city and state government stuff, I know it will hurt. Don't add it. He didn't add stimulus checks. Don't add it. That's fine. Mitch, have your reign. Have at it, Host, till January 21st. Then on January 21st, on January 20th, matter of fact, as they say, we in this thing. Let him, if Mitch McConnell wants to run butt naked up and down the halls of Congress, just giggling and wiggling, go ahead and do it. Nobody stop him. Let him enjoy the time he has left as in the majority. Have at it, Haas, please. Just give him what he wants, but until January 21st. That's my plan. That's what I got for you. Mitch McConnell's plan is not going to be enough, just like the bipartisan plan is not enough. But quite honestly, that's the best we can do right now. Seriously. That's it. Because Mitch is not going to capitulate. Mitch won't capitch. Mitch the beep won't capitch. That's all I have to say. I'm rambling. Yeah, I'm done. Just yeah. Stop fighting with Mitch because he's enjoying this. He really is enjoying that.